Now, here's a short story about an ex-husband who's somewhat questioning his actions after his ex-wife offed herself and he doesn't care. Her family, his former in-laws, are making him out to be the root of all evil, and again, he doesn't care, given, as you're going to see, how awful she was to him. She was a cheater, cheated for a big part of their marriage, and not only does this guy get away from her, he makes out like a bandit because she's wealthy, and they want a prenup. No joke. But guys, this is to show you, if somebody does you wrong in life and bad things happen to them, frankly, I got no problem. And this is me personally. If something bad happens to them, hey, not to care. Because they're jerks and they're a-holes. And obviously it's the final thing. Somebody ends themselves. But you know what? If you don't care, it's your business. Don't let anybody, make you out to be the root of all evil for not caring. Especially people who they themselves are not very nice people. Titled, Am I the a-hole for not feeling guilty after my cheating ex offed herself? And I shout out to Bill for sending this story. He says here, me and my ex-wife had been married for 3 years, and before getting married, her family made me sign a prenup since they were very wealthy. Okay, that tends to happen. The irony, huh? They want him to sign the prenup. Well, I accepted since I was not interested in her money at all, but I was blindly in love with her. And well, the prenup is a standard prenup with the classic clause of cheating, where the cheated one will have access to 50% of the assets. Whoa! Okay, so I guess 50% of her assets that she brings into the marriage, so she is a trust fund brat. And say in her trust fund she has $1 million and other things, a house or something like that. Well, I guess sounds like he's getting half. The irony is, again, if he cheats, but he's not a cheater. Long story short, I found she was having an affair since 2 years with another man, and when I had the proof, I didn't confront her, but I had her served with the divorce papers and went to stay in the apartment that I was renting. Nice. That's all you do. There you go. You're being served. We're done. I'm out of here. But here's where the stuff took a route I was not expecting, because she made the classic stuff that cheaters do, like calling me, texting, and begging for forgiveness, but not for the reason you'd think, but because she wanted me to spare her family's assets and do the right thing and ditch the prenup. Hang on. Your family's the one who wanted the prenup, and you cheated on me for like 2 years of our 3-year marriage. And I'm supposed to just let that go because you're crying and texting and messaging and you're so sorry? Nah, I'll take half of your, what you got, honey. Her whole family tried literally everything to make me desist to take what the prenup said. They were sending me gifts, calling me at work, claiming I was unstable, claiming that I was abusive, with fake proofs, claiming I was mentally unstable, and all the worst stuff. But at the end, I got divorced and took what the prenup said. Nothing more, nothing less. Hey, the hell with them. Again, one might question, she comes from a wealthy family, has all this. Imagine not ever having to worry about money, guys. It'd be pretty darn nice. The rest of us all have to work and think about money and plan. But not her. People like that, and yet they screw everything up. All she had to do is stay loyal to this guy. He said he loved her. And here comes the part where I might be the a-hole, because after divorce, I completely blocked and ignored my ex-wife. And only when she offed herself, I understood what happened afterwards. He's not an a-hole or a villain for blocking her after they got divorced. Why would you stay in contact with your ex-wife, especially one that cheated on you for 2 freaking years, and her family are a bunch of jerks to you? Well, to sum it up, her family blamed her for all the assets they lost during the divorce and cut her off without any possible help until she offed herself. Man, families with money, huh? It never ceases to amaze me. Maybe also part of her assets was like an ownership in a family business or something, so he got a piece of it, who knows? When I heard this, I didn't feel anything because she was just my cheating ex and nothing more but to her friends and family, and apparently I should be crying, apologizing, and being sad because she did what she did. Why should he care? I mean, some people would care, but he didn't. I wouldn't. I think they just probably hope that he'll give the money back or the assets, whatever that happens to be. I clearly told them that I don't give a F about my ex-wife and that her betrayal is still an open wound, so they were delusional as if to think otherwise. So now am I the monster that doesn't care about his ex that she offed herself? So am I the a-hole for not feeling guilty or pity for my ex-wife? No, dude. Now, understandably, some people will say yes, but not in my opinion. You were in love with her. You didn't care about the money. They pushed the prenup. You were loyal to her, and she was cheating on you. I'm sure she's probably cheating on you when you're dating, engaged, married. I would have put a pastor to do the best man. Seriously. And now they're mad at you because you don't care that she's over and done with. I guarantee it's all about the freaking money. But no, you don't have to feel bad. Anybody gives you a hard time about that, screw them. So guys, never feel bad about bad things that happen to people that do you wrong. You know, honestly, I mean, you got to take care of yourself. And frankly, scumbags, we got a whole world of rotten people. If you leave us early, the way I see it, the world's a little bit better place. But of course, the whole comment section is pretty much on his side. I'm going to read a few here. One guy says, she is your ex. Why would you even care if she lived to be 72 years old and died in her sleep? Everyone's saying you should have empathy for this poor woman. Why she is your ex for a reason, and she abused you when you were married. Why would you save your empathy for a character like that? Thank you. Another one. So they cut her off, treated her like crap, refused to help her, and basically disowned her. But you're the one who's supposed to be at fault for her actions? Yeah, I don't think so, not the a-hole. You would think that, well, no, you wouldn't think that, but in the future, I hope this guy looks at a girl's family, see what they're like before he marries her. If he would have known not to marry into that family because they're a bunch of jerks, and so is she, then maybe he would have married her. I don't know. Another one. This guy says, wild. Can you imagine growing up with generational wealth and knowing you would always be taken care of? Meeting someone you love and signing specific documents that threaten your wealth and privilege for the first time ever. But only if you cheat on the person you love. And then you still cheat. I can't wrap my head around that. Most people would dream of a trust fund or enough money to keep you housed and fed guaranteed to you with no effort. And the only condition is to not horribly betray someone that you claim to care about. How do you even begin to understand the psyche of someone who does that? Thank you. Again, we all would love to have a trust fund and never have to worry about money ever. Think about that, guys. And I'm sure most of you watching this would be happy with just a very simple life, you know? But no, that's not going to happen to most people. But people that have things, I've noticed people that have a lot of money and wealth, they got nothing else to do, so they got to create a bunch of drama and shit, you know? And one more. This guy says, not whatsoever. Your ex-wife is solely responsible for everything having to do with this financial situation. Full stop. Second, it sounds like you really loved her, and that just makes your feelings totally normal. No one is responsible for someone choosing to end their life. There are countless factors, especially if you weren't in communication. What could you possibly have done? Finally, do you think it's possible they want to guilt you so you give them their money? I do, very much so. Please respect your own pain and your experience and go with a free mind. I wish you peace and love that gives you much more. Well, amen. I went to a wedding once, like 25 years ago. Girlfriend I had at the time, one of her sisters was getting married, and she married a guy who came from a wealthy family. But this was his second marriage. And in the first marriage, his wife cleaned him out. So with this marriage number two, my girlfriend at the time, sister, they really did the whole prenup thing. Big time. So the family assets can be impacted. And guess what? They got divorced. Big freaking surprise, but her sister was a moron. But that was 24 years ago or something like that. But anyhow, guys, there you go. So don't feel bad for a-holes that do you wrong and then something happens to them. Don't ever let anybody guilt trip you about that. It is what it is.